Welcome to Ideagen TV. Today we have with us Stephen Tingus, Honorary Chair of Ideagen Hollywood. Stephen, welcome.
Good afternoon, George. How are you?
You know, Stephen, always great when I'm chatting with my good friend, Stephen Tingus. It is an exciting moment in time, I believe. This is all part of the Ideagen Global Leadership Summit. And you and I had some pre-taping conversations, and I'm excited for you. You're auditioning for a new Christmas show, a TV show, and you're in your Christmas attire, which I love. Tell us a little bit about that. You're excited, right?
Yes, my talent agent called me actually yesterday and said that you better get ready. You have a TV audition for a movie for Christmas. So obviously I'm in character, and it's a father who uses a wheelchair. So things are opening up in Hollywood for everybody. So I'm doing my part to do a good thing.
Well, Stephen, you've always done the good thing and the right thing, and you're so inspiring to everyone, including myself. I mean, you know this, but I'm incredibly inspired by you.
Wow.
At every level. You're an incredible leader. You're an incredible actor. You're an incredible, person who is making things happen and making things happen each and every day. And so we're talking about leadership today. Leadership is critical. And, it doesn't mean title. It doesn't mean title. It means leading at any level. And so to kick off the interview, could you please share, Stephen, with our global audience a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Okay. Well, I started off in academic research at UC Davis, working on neuromuscular diseases, and got the political bug to make a difference through policy to help people with disabilities, whether it be health or employment. And I've been fortunate to work for the governor of California way back when, and President George W. Bush for 8 years. And that's where you and I met, George. And I was pretty successful implementing policies that helped, at that time, 57 million Americans. And now I'm using that policy implementation and business savvy to open doors for people with disabilities here in Hollywood, whether it be producing, writing, or acting. And so one of my biggest goals as a disability leader is to hopefully open more opportunities for people with disabilities at the creative and executive level here in Hollywood. And as you know, I'm trying to get to that point as well, but it's still hard. But as far as in front of the screen, it's going a lot better.
Incredible. That's fantastic. And it's so important to lead by example. And you're doing that in Hollywood. And it's not easy. We're just coming off this incredibly interesting, challenging, difficult year, 2020, for many. And I believe, and I know you do as well, that leadership is crucial, more crucial now than ever.
Yes.
And so, Stephen, to you, what does leadership mean to you? And why do you believe that now more than ever, again, we need strong, effective leadership at every level, whether it's what you're doing in Hollywood or what's happening globally or in companies. Why is that strong, effective leadership so critical?
I think leadership has many undertones and dynamics of itself. I think we all are born with the skills to be a leader. We just have to align ourselves into areas of interest in which we show our skills. And for me, it was politics in a good sense. Politics, being bipartisan, working with other people with different ideas and coming to a point where something positive comes from it. For me, as well as you, there are many leaders that somehow disappoint us with regard to decisions or actions. Myself, as a quote unquote leader, is just living and developing and producing good things just based on who I am and not what people perceive who I am. So if you come from a strong family, or in many cases, a group of friends like yourself that support me, each of us can make a difference. And we just have to find the right area that we excel in and live authentically. And if you live authentically, then you're a leader.
Wow, that's it's profound to hear you describe that, Stephen, and especially at this moment for those individuals across the planet that are watching this interview. Global leadership means different things to different people.
Right.
Can you help explain maybe a bit further for this global audience how you are helping to lead specifically on diversity and inclusion in Hollywood?
Thank you. Yes. I'm just Stephen Tingus, a human being that has physical challenges. But through all my life, with the help of others and my tenacity, I've overcome obstacles, whether physical, architectural, or whatever. But the hardest thing that we are still dealing with is perception. And my role on this earth is to change perception of people like me and other people from other communities that we all matter. And we need to approach the business industry with the knowledge that there's almost no minority anymore. When we were younger, there was. But now things are changing where we need to employ people from all walks of life. Because when we bring in different thoughts, positive change can happen for everyone. And so it may be Pollyanna, but it's not too far from the truth. And that's my purpose as a leader.
Well, Stephen, I've had the privilege, as have you, to work with many of the world's leaders.
Yes.
And what I'm struck by is your tenacity, your actual leadership. And I haven't really come across someone who is so effective in the leadership and telling the story. And it all is really about storytelling, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And I'm not alone. There are other people like me here in Hollywood, but don't forget, I come from, like you, a business family, and my perspective and thoughts are just as honorable as other people. And so when we have different thoughts and different approaches, we can all learn from each other to be even greater leaders in what we do. And a job is just a job. But if you're able to educate people in the social realm, that's, never ending.
That's right. And Stephen, shifting gears a bit, we at Ideagen are focused always on helping to achieve the global goals of the United Nations, those 17 broad global goals,
Right.
which are not political. They were agreed to by every single member state of the United Nations. All 193 member states came together in 2015 and said, we agree to these 17 broad global goals,
Right.
including things like partnerships and collaboration in order to achieve the goals by 2030.
Right.
And how do we do this? We do it with what we're doing right now, helping to explain to people across the world what the global goals are and how important they are. Eradicating poverty, eradicating hunger, empowering women and girls, diversity and inclusion, and on and on. All of the world's most important issues are wrapped into those 17 global goals that ultimately culminate with global partnerships. And so, Stephen, how are you and your partners in Hollywood helping and striving to help achieve these goals by 2030?
I think we in Hollywood are, because of the pandemic, we've been working on Zoom chats and discussions that delve into areas that we haven't dealt before, because I think now with the pandemic and sort of it's an eye opener to those that are quote unquote able-bodied to understand about isolation and seclusion, because we with disabilities, we're used to this. We're used to be very sensitive to our environment and how we navigate ourselves in society. So people have come to learn a little bit about what we face. But hopefully that will get us all on a better page to understand how difficult life can be for everyone. And so I'm working with, some big executive producers, stars, writers. Oh my God, a lot of writers lately that are developing projects for me to pitch that are very inclusive, not only of disability, but of race and intellectual disabilities. So it's a great time creatively for everybody to enjoy through TV and film.
Incredible. That's right. And it's so incredibly inspiring when you lay it out that way and sort of talk about the landscape and what are we really looking at in terms of that Hollywood piece and the storytelling, you know, leading with that story to help debunk myths, whatever they may be, to help set the tone, to help change the world, literally. And Hollywood has that power to be able to change the world through that narrative storytelling.
Yeah, and one thing for your viewers is that I keep hounding on this. Hollywood is not about glitz and glamour. You see glitz and glamour when we celebrate outcomes and projects that we all, even those of us that aren't part of a movie project, we take pride in the output and the education that a movie gives to the viewers at large.
That's
But
right.
Hollywood is a business, and as a business, it needs to be more inclusive as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see it up close and personal each and every day. And so as we look to 2021, we're in 2021, and the roadmap, the roadway, the lane that we're heading towards leading into 2030, Stephen, and what we should talk about as well is the post-pandemic world.
Right.
And not the rebuilding, but rather the reimagining of that post-pandemic world. What are some of the goals that you are looking forward to accomplishing as we lead into 2030 and beyond?
Here are my goals. My goals are to continue to educate the executive producers that have been very kind to me. My goal is to actually work as a consultant for a number of them, and I won't mention their names, but they know where I'm getting at. And the other thing is to change the mindset of people, talent with disabilities here in Hollywood, is that the only way we're going to make change is to get us in leadership positions with major studios and production companies as consultants, executives, writers, creative executives, and content experts. Yeah, we're going to have an increased opportunity to act, but the business side can also be rewarding, as many of my friends who are executive producers got nominated for an Oscar and Golden Globe. So, the sky's the limit. It's all about talent and persistence.
Absolutely. Talent and persistence is a key element of leadership. And so as we finish up this just epic interview, this incredibly inspiring interview, always with you, Stephen, who would you say has influenced you the most in your life? as you led on this path to becoming a global leader? Who are those motivators, those role models? Who is it that most influenced your career path?
Well, I don't believe in idols, role models, and all that, because honestly, we've been disappointed in a few, but I would be remiss in not saying my family, because I, like you, come from a Greek family. And for those that don't know, Greek families are very tight. And my late parents taught me about business, not giving up, being just a human, and always working hard in whatever I wanted to achieve. And my sister Tina and brother Michael, who were very successful as professionals and as parents, teach me about love, devotional effort for their family, and we all share a kindness for all people. So I would have to say my family at the foremost, and everything else, everybody else I learn from in the industry or politics. But I take what I want from that learning experience and try to do things better.
Incredible, Stephen. Incredible wrap up to this incredibly epic interview, this inspiring interview. And so, if folks want to learn more about what you're doing and separately your call to action, what would that be?
Well, they can always contact me through Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. But my call to action is, let's learn from the past year, both socially and medically. Let's try to learn about different walks of life. Let's not be so discriminatory without learning about other people. And let's try that we can be more collective in making positive change, no matter what industry that you're involved with.
Stephen Tingus, Honorary Chair, Ideagen Hollywood. We send our love to you. We admire your leadership, and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts for all you're doing to make the world a better place. Stephen, thank you.
Thank you, George. And best wishes to the family.
Thank you, Steve.